What up, guys? We're here at SEMA this morning for the reveal of TJ Hunt's Ferrari, which we'll take a look at right now. It is dope. How are you? Chilling.
Thanks everybody for gathering around here at the Magnaflow booth, and we are here to unveil TJ Hunt's 2020 Supra. If you guys have been following along, obviously you know where we are today, but probably haven't seen this with your own eyes. So we're just excited with you and getting TJ out here and talking about what he went through to get this car where it is today. We're happy to be a part of this build, and it was a good time working with you and trying to develop out what is our newest series of exhaust, our X-Mod series exhaust components. And all that work, we've been watching over the last few weeks where you've gone with this car. And of course, just 2 weeks ago, it was nothing like what it looks like here today. So tell us a little bit about that journey you went through here in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. It's been a big journey. Before we even get into that, I just off the bat want to say thank you so much for everyone who came here. I see a lot of young faces, which is weird for the SEMA industry because it's like, how did all those young people get passes? And I was young here at one time and made fake passes to get here, so shout out to all the young guys that are here. I love that. I'm so overwhelmed. This is such an amazing experience, and I literally am holding back tears right now. This is an actual dream come true. So thank you so much for everyone coming out here to support this off the bat. It truly means the world to me. But this car has been, we actually started documenting this thing 10 days ago. But 10 days ago, this car was completely stock, and our pieces literally just got fresh out of the press at the 3D printing. So, you know, from the start of doing this journey, it was, how can I make a larger impact on the industry? Well, I took things that I love, that I grew up adoring, and I tried to make my own footprint in the world of cars. And I had a lot of amazing people that I met. Without StreetHunter LA, without Massivit, without BCT getting along, without John Spa helping with the renderings, there are so many individual people that played a big portion in getting this here today. It was not an individual job, and that's my biggest thing that I want to stress. Because I think on YouTube, I'm the spokesperson for this car because they see my face in this car. And sometimes I think it gives the impression that, oh, he did that by himself. And it's no, he did that with 10 to 15 other people did that. And it was a team effort, for sure.
Well, that's one of the biggest things we know about these cars that come to SEMA, and obviously, TJ, you've been coming here for a long time, so we're really excited to see what you got out of this. And would you want to take the honors here of pulling this back and showing everybody what all that hard work looks like?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess we'll just jump to it, yeah.
10 days and a lot of work later, and a vehicle looks nothing like that original concept. And all I gotta say is that there's a lot going on here. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the different features and what went into it. You talked about the big team that you had along with you and what it took to get there. So obviously the wide body, we can't ignore that being the single probably largest piece of this puzzle that made it what it is today. Tell me about exactly where this was 10 days ago concept-wise. I mean, we've got finished parts on a vehicle. 10 days ago, we had nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, one of the biggest things that, I guess one of the biggest points that I want to make an impact on everyone here and I guess the world perceiving it, is what you're seeing here is a concept. This is not final production. And it's a concept, and I guess it's almost like it's a prototype, as we like to say in fancy words. What you're seeing is a prototype. So as you look from the back to the front, what you're seeing is what you should expect when it's in full production. But there will be some small areas, and I think at this point, me and the team have been fighting and everything just perfect, and making sure all the bathrooms are within exactly the same spec. And there really is, but there is going to be some rough edges around the car that will be found, and that's because it is a prototype. But 10 days ago, we had just the pieces that were all finished for me. So from getting that off pieces, that was all kind of 3D printing. And the reason why we use 3D printing is because we started designing this roughly about 5 months ago. So when we decided we were going to do a full kit, the inspiration was I wanted to take certain things that I loved about certain wide body kits throughout all years, from 90s, 2000s, and current. And I wanted to throw in a car that I haven't seen it done on this car quite yet. So I think one of the biggest things I've ever loved about this car, I know it's my absolute favorite thing, is the wing on this car. So that was like the biggest inspiration that kind of came from two cars, which is my Mazda RX-7 and my Toyota TRD. This was like a really good combination to like accent both of those, and all that stuff, and the certain bylines that you see here were all certain things that I told John Zabal, an epic legend in the game, in the rendering world. And I told him, I'm like, yo, this is what I'm looking for. Like, how do you make that a real thing? So it started by me, telling John what I was looking for, and John took what I said, and somehow in his mastermind way was able to kind of like lay it out for me. At that point, I'd be like, okay, John, maybe we can make this go a little bit more, or maybe follow a different body line. And I went back and forth to then getting those renderings and then giving it to the Street Fighter LA guys to give it to their engineers to put it in a CAD design. So once we had all the files on CAD, that's where we went to 3D print. So at that point, you would traditionally start doing this in foam and start making everything in foam, which is a long process. Can take up to months, even by a professional. So what the 3D printing was able to do is we were able to get that design, that idea that was only on the computer, we were able to have that in our hands in 48 hours. So Massive has a 3D printer that is like 6 foot tall. It's massive, it's bigger than me. So they were able to, with their machines, transcribe the CAD file into a language that their printer is able to understand, and then print that piece in a prototype. And it was printed with polymer acrylic. And so once we got it, it was about 90-ish% there. There was still some bodywork that needs to be done. So these pieces that you're seeing now are actually the 3D printed parts. This is a world first. This isn't fiberglass. These are actually plastic printed pieces. Now there is primer and there is some bodywork that had to be done. Shout out to SOS, my boys. They put in mad work. So shout out to SOS. I think they said they logged, I think it was like 250 hours. So don't be confused by saying it came out perfect, because it came out good. This is a world first, so there was some learning to be had on our end. Or like, okay, well, we need to do this better next time. So we were able to get this in print immediately, get it on the car. 10 days ago, we started doing this. Started putting it up, and then, okay, we need to add some stuff here. The guys at SOS, we need to add material here, do this and that. We modified it, had it all perfect, sprayed it with paint. And then in the last 72 hours, we started assembling. So that's pretty much the body of the car. And then our boys at HRE Wheels came and did 3D scans of the car. So one of the biggest things is we weren't able to test fit these wheels before having it on the car. I put these wheels on an hour before the trailer got there, so fitment had to be 100% perfect in order to get this look. HRE 3D scanned the whole entire car. They knocked it out of the park. We're looking at their competition series wheels, the C106. It's kind of like that 5-6 spoke design, big deep dish. You're able to pull off a really good look in the back, how big the dish is. That's one of my favorite parts on that. They absolutely knocked it out of the park. And then behind that, it kind of like leads into the wings. So one of the biggest things that we wanted to accomplish by SEMA is we wanted to have carbon pieces. That was the hardest piece of this puzzle. So this actual wing that you're looking at is the only piece on the car that is not 3D printed. This is actually a full, authentic piece of carbon that kind of gives a little flex onto what we're able to do with the 3D printed piece. So we got this 3D printed piece, got it how we wanted, did our adjustments with our bodywork, and then gave it to a carbon guy who was able to make the actual final mold. So that is a final production mold that you're seeing. That is a true 100%, like less than a pound piece of carbon wing. So the whole entire kit, once we're gonna take it home from SEMA, do our last final touches on the kit, and then we're going to make our molds for fiberglass, which will then be sent out to people who end up buying the kit. And the lip in the front is actually still all the 3D printed material with laid carbon on top. That shows we were able to make it look like that, but the rear wing is a true example of what the kit will look like once everything is made with its final molds.
I'm noticing a big theme here, and that's rapid prototyping, engaging with the new technology, and obviously you've demonstrated that this is technology that's attainable by everybody. And the big companies that are out there, I'm going small really, it's really how we can get these things ready for SEMA. No different than when we provided the exhaust for you, we had the production model following that in just 2 weeks. The prototyping process is what enables cars like this to come from imagination, obviously, into full production. Not only did you get something that looked great as a one-off, but you're aiding in this product coming out to be for everybody. And that's something I commend you for. Obviously, you're out there doing things and building your own cars, but you're making new stuff available for everybody else. And we're proud to have you represent MagnaFlow, and we love what you brought here at Turkis today, and we're really proud to be a part of that team.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me here. I remember that when I wanted to get this car here, I actually called Richard, and I'm like, hey, I have a car that I really need inside the show, and I can't promise you we'll be there on time, but I need you to promise me a spot. He was like, okay, let me see what I can do about that. So every day when I made progress, I immediately sent Richard pictures. I'm like, yo, we're on schedule, we're on track, and he stuck with us to make this thing possible. And there's a lot of people that went into this, and that's the biggest thing I want everyone to take away, is that without my team behind me, none of this would have been possible. And I'm completely honored to be sharing this to the world and adding another player in a big game that is aero and wide body kits. And this is where my child heart lies, and I'm glad to kind of make a name for myself.
Thanks again, TJ. Everybody enjoy the car, and a big round of applause for a very, very nice piece.
TJ, are you happy with the car?
It's alright. It's alright. We're gonna be shooting something.